I'm Damien the DM from Adventures in Aurelia, a collaborative storytelling experience told through a game of Dungeons & Dragons, part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other epically geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Capes on the Couch podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Dr. Issues is a psychiatrist, but he is not your psychiatrist and does not have knowledge of your individual situation. For any personal mental health concerns, please consult your own healthcare providers. For medical emergencies, please call 911 or the designated number in your area immediately. Remember that you are not alone and help is out there.
Hello and welcome back to Capes on the Couch, where comics get counseling. I'm Anthony Sitko.
And I'm Dr. Issues.
This is a mini episode. It's just basically a way of getting us back onto your feed in whatever podcatcher you listen to us. Welcome back to us. Hooray!
Yay!
It has been quite a summer, and hopefully everyone here has had a good 3 months, a wonderful 3-4 months, however long it's been. Honestly, I don't even remember when the last episode we released was. It's been a long freaking time.
Yep.
A lot of stuff has happened, good and bad. You know, good. I got a new job.
Yay!
That I will be starting mid-September. That will be fully remote.
Yay!
Completely remote, and a massive pay bump.
Yay!
I will be taking on a lot of managerial responsibilities with this company, and it's scary and exciting and all of the emotions at the same time. Lesser new. Both of my parents were individually hospitalized for separate issues over the summer. So there's been a lot of stuff going on. Everybody's fine. Everybody's good. Everybody is alive. Thankfully, everybody's recovering, but it's been a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's a stressful period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doc, what have you been up to?
So the way things work with me, with my wife being a teacher, she's off throughout the summer. Same thing with my daughter with traditional school year stuff in the US, which means that I have a regular work schedule, which leads to a lot of resentment on my part. Not really. I just want to make that clear. It's not that bad, but it does create some awkward moments. There's been some changes at work in the long run for the better. New doctors and nurse practitioners, a new electronic health record, which at times has really saved plenty of time for me in terms of doing things and much more streamlined, even though a lot of people complain about it because they just complain about anything new.
Yay!
On the personal side, I would say my daughter, I know I talk a lot about her anyway, but seriously, seeing her personality develop and some of the things that we are bonding with, I must have given her some direct neurons or something, because we are so simpatico in certain ways. There are plenty of things we don't share in common. She is not a real sports head. She doesn't have as much overlap with music tastes with me, but the things that we click on, oh boy, do we click. And she's learned very quickly the things that she could say to me, she shouldn't say to anybody else.
Yeah, she's your kid. No question whatsoever. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun to watch the two of you interact and see the way that you two just play off of each other. My kids are a lot younger, obviously, but it's going to be interesting to see what they're like by the time they reach that age. So all that being said, the purpose for this mini episode is just to give you a little update on what we're working on in terms of season 10 and some of the changes that are going to be coming to the show as a result of that. I know we did this last time for season 9 or maybe season 8, whatever it was, and that seemed to go over well and just kind of give everybody a heads up as to what's coming. So biggest change to expect from the show for season 10 is that we are switching to bi-weekly. We've been doing weekly for the past 5.5 years, but with the exception of when we go on hiatus, but it becomes a little difficult to manage the show and reach people in areas outside of the podcast. if they're not already looking for the podcast.
Right. And just to clarify something, because I have a feeling there's a subset of you that are saying like, oh, wow, they must be really getting serious about this. They're ramping up to twice a week. That's not what we mean.
No, not twice a week, every other week. So what it essentially boils down to is that when we've been doing the show weekly, it's we record and then we edit and then we drop the show and we post a couple things on social media linking to the podcast. And then that's it. Neither of us have the time to do anything else. And there's so much that we want to do with the show in terms of wanting to dive deeper into discussion topics, maybe do a blog post or a video explaining things, maybe something funny, maybe something a little more educational, whatever the case may be. All of those ideas for supplemental content have been stewing for years, but we don't have the time because we both work full-time jobs. So over the hiatus, we said, well, if we drop back to every other week, we can take the off weeks and take the time that we would normally spend writing, researching, recording, editing, etc., the podcast and put it into other stuff. So if you don't already follow us on social media, I highly recommend doing that because we're really going to be amping up, I would say, a lot of the video content, whether it's TikTok or Instagram. Stuff will make it to Twitter, X, whatever Elon's calling it these days, or Facebook. We're going to have blog posts on the website. Patrons are going to get some additional content. I'd like to do maybe some more stuff with terms of comic reviews. I know we've been doing the trade paperback reviews, or at least talking about them, and they've been kind of spotty. Switching to biweekly gives us a little more time to get those out. So we're going to be certainly a lot more consistent with that for the patrons. Speaking of the patrons, and we made this announcement to them directly as well as on the Discord channel, but we're making it kind of a widespread announcement due to the fact that we're only going to be releasing 2 episodes a month now, 3 if the dates line up properly, but we're no longer going weekly. We are eliminating the president level patron tier. It's just something that we talked about, and we are beyond grateful for the presidents that we've had, in many cases for literal years, that have been supporting us ongoing. And to give us the $10 a month has just been absolutely astounding. And we can never truly say just how grateful we are for that. I mean, some of you presidents have literally given us like hundreds of dollars over the years cumulatively. And you've been fantastic in terms of contacting, and many of you have even guested on the show. You've done the trade paperback reviews. You've reached out to us with some wonderfully insightful comments and episode requests and things of that nature. And again, I could spend another half hour effusively praising each and every single one of you patrons, but it came to a point where we realized that for what we needed to do for ourselves for the show, it just wasn't going to make sense to continue asking you to pay for a benefit that you weren't going to get. So we made the hard call to eliminate that tier. We kind of gave everybody a heads up and say, hey, drop down to the $5 tier. We're still going to honor their episode requests. Everybody's got a backlog. And so until those episodes are all exhausted, we're going to continue to roll through them. They're just going to be spaced out a little bit more. And then I think it's going to give us some opportunities to maybe do things a little differently once we've cleared the queue in terms of how we present stuff, what the outreach is going to look like, what the feedback is going to look like, and how we can continue to engage the listener base. So in many ways, it's a step backwards, but I also think that provides us an opportunity to maybe take a few steps forward in terms of the growth of the show. But like I said, it was a hard call, not an easy one at all. And, I suppose if nothing else, this proves that we're not just in it for the money, because otherwise we would say, yeah, we'll just continue to stick it out and try and, suck up as many $10 patrons as we can.
That's right. That's right. Let's do what's best for what we think is going to work rather than do what is going to just feed the content monster. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, in some respects, we are going to be feeding the content monster only because we're going to be doing videos, we're going to be doing blogs, but it's less restrictive on us to be able to do those things in a different way and with different time constraints or fewer time constraints, because we're not saying, oh, now we have to spend all this time working on the podcast and also pump out this additional content. And on the upside, I think that for the patrons that are in the tiers that allow you early access, we're really going to give you early access because we're in some cases going to be recording episodes like back to back. And so you may get an episode a month before it drops because of how the recording schedule is going to work out and everything. So that's still up in the air a bit. And I'm being a bit, wishful thinking, but I'm also saying that in the hopes that it will inspire us to get that done.
Yeah. Speak it into existence, my man.
Exactly. Hey, listen, I manifested my job this year, that new job. I had it on the whiteboard since January. I said, by the end of the year, I will have a new job. And it happened. I'm still pinching myself. I can't believe it. So, and that will give me more time to, because I'm fully remote now. So that will give me more time to create the additional content that I think everyone is clamoring for, maybe. So one last announcement is our first episode back is going to be the panel that we recorded for PoochCon Atlantic City. If you attended earlier this year, many, many thanks. But we're going to be doing another PoochCon panel, this time in the Poconos, Sunday, October 22nd. We will be at PoochCon Poconos at the Camelback Resort in Pennsylvania. And we will be talking Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. So if you are in the tri-state area or in the Pennsylvania area or anywhere really in the Northeast United States, and you want to come check out a really fun, legitimately cool panel and an amazing con, it's definitely on the smaller side, but with no less heart and enthusiasm than some of the larger cons, then go to puchicon.com, puchicon.com, and get your tickets. And like I said, we will be there Sunday afternoon and hope to see even more of you there. We got good attendance for the first one, but hopefully we get to see even more of your smiling, awesome faces on this go round.
Yep. And if you need more incentive, anybody that's been in that area, believe me, it is absolutely beautiful that time of year in the fall. Just absolutely gorgeous, in addition to convention with a lot of the stuff that you know and love, as well as getting to know us a bit. The best part, I'd say, aside from being picked to do what we did, that was great. But also afterwards, when we stopped recording, having some conversations, that was an unexpected bonus. I thought that a lot of people would simply say, all right, that was cool, and then just walk off. And meanwhile, people really dove in way more than I would have expected. It was so amazing for someone like me. That's the type of stuff that energizes me.
Yeah. It was really cool to meet with the fans and ask questions and have conversations about things, referencing stuff that was discussed in the panel, but taking it in a slightly different path. And then, like I said, we didn't record those, but we, could have or should have. So now it kind of gives us a little more information for this go round when we're talking Spike, is afterwards, we're going to keep the tape recording and saying, okay, maybe, if there's some really good stuff here, we'll incorporate it into the episode, or maybe it'll be a Patreon exclusive or something, but it'll be a good way for us to include some of that additional discussions. So like I said, very much looking forward to that. And again, thanks to the fantastic staff at PoochCon. I had a great time. I was there working the Extra Life booth, and then also got to walk around and pick up some really cool artwork and meet some fantastic folks. So head on out if you're available late October, right before Halloween. Get your stuff, get your cosplays together. But in any case, we're going to wrap this up and just say, we really enjoyed the summer off, and we are super energized and stoked to be bringing you some new episodes. We've already got our episodes lined up. In addition to Vash the Stampede, we're going to be doing Mr. Sinister, Ventriloquist, and Big B Wolf. So once again, we're coming out of the block all over the place here. Like literally all over the place because we've got anime, Marvel, DC, and indie. Like the first 4 episodes of the season. And it's just going to continue to get crazier from there. More interesting, more exciting, more insightful. All the stuff that you love compounded with even more stuff. At least that's the plan. So if you don't already follow us, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads, at Capes on the Couch. Website is capesonthecouch.com. We're available wherever you find podcasts. Proud members of the Gonna Geek Network, GonnaGeekNetwork.com. Check us out there as well as other awesome, amazingly geeky shows. Doc and I have been doing some guest spots and just looking forward to continue bringing you awesome content. So before we wrap this up, Doc, anything you want to add?
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back. There we go. So up your nose with a rubber hose. For Doc Issues, I'm Anthony Sitko. Thanks for listening.
Capes on the Couch podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Dr. Issues is a psychiatrist, but he is not your psychiatrist and does not have knowledge of your individual situation. For any personal mental health concerns, please consult your own healthcare providers. For medical emergencies, please call 911 or the designated number in your area immediately. Remember that you are not alone and help is out there.